My name is Rhapsody, welcome back to Slay the Spire. The Watcher, as I have mentioned a couple episodes ago, has moved out of the beta branch and into the main branch of the game. The completion of the Watcher's Ascension levels, and as well as the Heartbreaker Chronicles for the Watcher, were both done back when the Watcher was in the beta branch, and it's changed a significant amount since then. So I figure, in between dailies and a couple of other runs as well, then I'm going to redo the Watcher Ascensions, and then when I get to Ascension 20, I will cap it off with the Heartbreaker Chronicle completion of the A20 Kill Against the Corrupt Heart. So this should serve decently well as a introduction to the character. Each time I encounter a new card, I will read it through. The individual new keywords associated with this character I will also read through, so if you are not familiar with the Watcher at all, this is the perfect place for you to start. If you weren't interested or didn't follow any of the content that was made about the Watcher in the beta branch. Alright, so we start with 72 max HP. Our deck has two cards in it that are non-standard, the Eruption and Vigilance. Eruption says enter Wrath, which is in this stance. We'll talk about stances in a second. You deal and receive double attack damage, and Vigilance says Calm. Upon exiting this stance, gain 2 energy. Stances are effectively, I mean, stance is probably the easiest way to describe them, right? They are one state that you can have active at a time. You can get benefits from entering or exiting stances. There are only 3 stances in the game at the moment. There's Wrath, Calm, and Divinity. Divinity is a much harder one to get that gives you 3 energy when you enter that stance, as well as triples your damage for that turn, but you lose Divinity at the end of a turn. Typically, you don't exit stances without something specifically telling you that you will. Okay, next 3 combats have 1 HP. I do like that because it does look like we'll be able to snipe an elite. Ooh, there's a 4 elite path. You know I love me a good 4 elite path. So our starting relic is Pure Water. At the start of each combat, add a Miracle into your hand. Miracle is a 0 mana retain, gain an energy exhaust. If you upgrade it, it gains an extra energy for you. So we have Flurry of Blows, Foresight, and Carve Reality. Flurry of Blows deal 4 damage whenever you change stances. So this is one of the archetypes for this character is obviously based around stance dancing or changing stances constantly so that you can get extra effects. This is a way to have that deal damage for you. It returns from your discard pile to your hand. There's also Foresight. At the start of your turn, Scry 3. This is another pseudo archetype, maybe like a splash kind of archetype for the Watcher. Scry is look at the top X cards of your draw pile and you may discard any of them. And then Carve Reality is deal 6 damage, add a Smite into your hand. This is, again, another kind of pseudo archetype for this character. I would argue it's more of a splash kind of archetype rather than like a strong archetype, but still, and that is of card generation. And it's also of retain, right? Because Smite itself, the card that's generated you can currently see on screen, is retained. I would like damage because I intend to go for a bunch of Elite Sys floor, so I'll take the Carve Reality there. I have a shop in a couple spaces. I want the relic. Molten Egg. Whenever you add an attack card to your deck, upgrade it. Ooh, that's a spicy one. I'm going to take another relic here. Start each combat with initial energy. Lovely. All right. Hell of a lot of new cards here. Tantrum is unupgraded only 3 times, but deal 3 damage 4 times, then enter Wrath. Very important for this character is respecting the fact that a card is written in the order that those events occur. And then the final is shuffle this card back into your draw pile. So this is a repeatable trigger to be able to enter Wrath. So if you have a bunch of ways to exit Wrath as well, you can use this quite effectively. Flying Sleeves, retain, deal 6 damage twice. Again, just like another part of her pseudo-retain kind of build. Pseudo-retain archetype, rather, or pseudo-archetype of retain. Foreign Influence, choose 1 of 3 attacks of any color to put into your hand. Upgrades to have it cost 0 this turn. So this is effectively our Distraction, Infernal Blade, White Noise kind of card. Tranquility, retain, enter calm, upgrades to lower its cost. Like water, if at the end of your turn you are in calm, gain 5 block, upgrades to 7. Used to be 7 to 9, I think. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then we've seen these other cards in here, so I'm gonna remove that regret. And bounce. Upgrade a card in my deck. Yeah, I'm gonna upgrade that card Reality really early. So that's given me just 4 more damage on the base card Reality. It hasn't upgraded the Smite. It used to give you an upgraded Smite, but used to was a while ago now. Goodbye, Gremlin Knob. Hello, Bag of Marbles, though. At the start of each combat, apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. 3 new cards here. There's Just Lucky, Scry 2, gain 3 block, deal 4 damage. All of those numbers are 1 less when it's unupgraded. Pressure points. This is kind of like the claw of this character, if you want to think about it that way. Apply 8 mark. All enemies lose HP equal to their mark. Again, these trigger in order. So you apply 8 mark and then the enemies lose their HP. So you just stack this on enemies constantly and then you're playing it and it deals 64 damage to them. It's ridiculous. Sands of Time. Retain, deal 26 damage. When retained, lower its cost by 1 this combat. When retained is another kind of like pseudo archetype of this character. Different things have triggers on retention. I'll be taking the Sands of Time there because it's pre-upgraded and it's real good damage. Speaking of things that get a benefit from retention, we'll have a look at Windmill Strike in a second. But there's Empty Body, gain 7 block, exit your stance. So this is the first way, other than entering other stances, which does exit your previous stance, this is the first way we've seen to exit an actual stance. Wreath of Flame, your next attack deals 5 additional damage, and Windmill Strike. Retain, deal 10 damage. When retained, increases damage by 5 this combat. I'll take the Windmill Strike just because it's there, frankly. Well, if this isn't just the easiest turn, double strike, double defend. So I could Eruption the frontliner, then carve Reality. Right? Eruption the frontliner, carve Reality is a kill. That's 20 damage when I'm in Wrath. The problem is then the backliner is attacking me for 18. So typically, if you are going Wrath, you either want to have a bunch of defense in your deck, which isn't a great way to deal with it, because obviously if you're going Wrath, you are going to want to be very aggressive, or find ways to leave Wrath at the right time, or know that you will kill your enemy before the next attack is incurred. So one of the biggest things about this character is foresight, is knowing not what you're doing this turn, not just next turn, but the turn after as well. That's important for a lot of other characters, but for this character, it is part and parcel of how to play her. So 10, 12, and 6 is not enough to kill the frontliner. 28 total. So unless I use Eruption, I'm not killing the frontliner. Fine. Really? That's annoying. Extremely annoying. I'm gonna just Vigilance defend my way out of that one. Reality, and then a Sands of Time on the back line. We've got Windmill Strike for the kill next turn. Took a little bit of damage, but it's okay. Nunchaku, every time you play 10 attacks, gain an energy. Mental Fortress, whenever you change stances, gain 4 block. Pretty important for the stance build right there. Protect. This is just a big, solid card. It's not a giant amount of block for 2 energy. Obviously, compare it to things like Leg Sweep and it comes up a little lacking. But it's always there when you need it. Retain being placed on top of a card rather than on another power like Well Laid Plans, or maybe on a relic like Satchel from Infinite Spar. Those are really, really, really good, but putting it on a card makes it so ubiquitous. I love it. And there's another empty body. I'm going to take a Protect. Strawberry. Upon pickup, raise your max HP by 7. I'll take the Sapphire Key there. Probably not going to use the Strawberry. So Eruption just decreases cost by 1. It used to increase its damage by 6, which was huge, but I should still upgrade it, especially because I'm about to push through 2 elites. So I don't really want to start this fight until I think I'm going to be killing the enemy. Okay, so we've got a Sands of Time starting to work its way down. That's fine. And a Windmill Strike here too. Guess I'll just throw out a single strike. That'll get the Nunchaku to start ticking up. Throw out a Protect and a Defend. Throw out a Protect, Defend, Miracle, and Carve Reality. We're going to kill next turn. Eruption, Sands of Time, Windmill Strike. So, again, it's all about just planning a couple turns ahead, right? So, I wasn't doing any damage on any of those turns, but I knew that I had, due to the retains in my hand, the ability to burst damage whenever I needed it. And as soon as that was above lethal, it's just time to pop the combo. Toy Ornithopter. Whenever you use a potion, heal for 5 HP, as well as Protect, Wreath of Flame, and Judgment. If the enemy has 30 or less HP, set their HP to 0. Upgrades to 40. It's just an incredible card. I'll also, like, immediately upgrade it. It takes care immediately of so many enemies on the next floor. It will take care of a sentry right now. With no problem. Interesting. So I do have a fire potion for an additional attack. So 24 and 9. I'm gonna go fire potion on the back line. Eruption. Smite. Strike. That'll give me an energy back from the Nunchaku. I'll use another strike. And then next turn I've got Windmill Strike. That's already lethal by itself, but we have the Judgment. And I just want to show off Judgment there. Just judges the enemy. Damaru, at the start of your turn, gain 1 Mantra. Mantra is a stack that, once it reaches 10, will cause your character to enter Divinity. Divinity is the state I mentioned before that will give you 3 energy on entry, exits itself at the end of the turn, and triplicates your damage through that turn. Wheel Kick, Fasting, and Spirit Shield. Wheel Kick, unupgraded, I believe, is just 15 damage, draw 2 cards, so it's effectively like a immediate Predator, if you want to think about it that way. Fasting, gain 3 strength and 3 dex, gain 1 less energy at the start of each turn. That doesn't, like, build up, as in, like, a reverse Deva form. We'll talk about Deva form if it turns up. That doesn't do anything like that, so it just means that I would have 2 energy a turn. This character can do a lot of interesting things to get a ridiculous amount of energy, Deva form being part of that. Again, we'll talk about Deva form when it shows up. It is a rare card. It's the form of this character. But I still don't necessarily love fasting unless I have an energy relic or something like that. And I've got like Nunchaku and I've got Lantern, but it don't really count to me. And Spirit Shield, gain 3 block for each card in your hand. You can obviously see the synergy that this would have with retaining cards in your hand. You retain, say, 3 cards in your prior hand, you draw 5 in your next hand, and you have an 8-card hand, with which Spirit Shield would be really good. Upgrades to B4. Considering I've mostly picked up aggression so far, I'll remove a strike. Okay. Protect. This used to be up to 17. Oh well, I guess it's still useful. Damaru probably does mean that I'll end up killing on turn 7 here. Let me use the attack potion because I want to get the enemy on the ground. Yeah. I should have done that in the opposite order. Strike, strike, and then the Sands of Time would have gotten more damage through. That's my bad. Clearly need a little bit more defense in the stack. Cool. I'm gonna use a smite as well and then a strike just to get the enemy on the ground so that I can skip having to take 20 damage there. Vigilance, Carve Reality just to get another smite for a later turn. Okay. Double defend. Not even gonna bother striking. Alright, this is the turn for damage. Will Eruption. Sands of Time. Windmill Strike. Another Sands of Time. We even had another smite and a strike in hand, so we were already way over the amount of damage we needed. Okay. Wish. Choose one. Gain 6 plated armor, 3 strength, or 25 gold. Upgrades to 8, far, and 30. Getting strength with this character is actually relatively hard. You've got Vajra and Girya. Obviously, the relics will always do it for you like that. You've got Jax and Mutagenic Strength. Those are both event-based. So all of these so far are available to all characters. Obviously, Shuriken, too. But other than that, you've got Fasting as the way to gain strength with this character. And because this character has the ability to double their damage at will, or triple their damage if they're using Divinity in the build, strength is incredibly powerful. Also, this character does have like a kind of like sub-theming of multi-hits, right? You saw Flying Sleeves before being a retain deal 6 damage twice. There's Ragnarok, which is a rare that is deal 5 damage 5 times. Those kinds of things, because strength increases the damage per hit, are ridiculous if you can get some strength on this character. So you can't think about this and go, wow, the Ironclad can get 4 strength for 1 energy. Yeah, but the Ironclad is not the Watcher. The Ironclad doesn't have access to Wrath and Divinity, right? These have differential values in differential classes, right? One of the biggest things of Wish for me, in particular, is if you know you're going to be fine in the fight, play it for 30 gold. You get an actual meta-level benefit out of it. I always love those, like Alchemize, Feed, Reaper. Others, I'm sure. There's also Deus Ex Machina. Unplayable. When you draw this, add 2 miracles to your hand and exhaust Deus Ex Machina. So we've seen miracles before. The upgrade is 3 miracles. The thing that I love about this is if you have Dead Branch, it exhausts itself and it gives you a bunch of cards in hand that exhaust themselves for extra energy. So you just go off on that turn. It's incredible. And then finally, Alpha. Alpha shuffles a Beta into your draw pile. It upgrades to become innate. Beta shuffles an Omega into your draw pile. Omega is a deal 50 damage to all enemies at the start of their turn, 3 mana power. I think it upgrades to be 60 damage. So the deck isn't overly defensive so far. It has like kind of like a retention archetype at the moment, so I don't necessarily want to go with Alpha. Wish just broadly fits. Take it. Coffee Dripper. Gain energy at the start of each turn. You can no longer rest at rest sites. I'm happy to take that. I really like the extra energy on this character. Because I'm retaining so many cards in hand, and not all of them are decreasing their own cost. Okay. I'm going to try and hit all of these question marks early, because if I get a Necronomicon, that's actually incredible for us. Do I want to kill the one that's... Yeah, I want to kill the one that's buffing itself, because I'm just going to double defend this turn anyway. One, two, three. Got a smite to kill that enemy next turn. See, I really want to play that Wish. And in fact, I will. Wish for gold, then Miracle out the Protect. Cool. Judge him. Another Windmill Strike, first conclude, or Protect. So conclude shows that the character has a few cards that immediately end your turn. Although I do need AoE right now. So I am considering it. I really need AoE right now, but I also really want that Protect, like, very badly. I'm going to take the conclude. AoE on this floor is way too important to turn down. So let's actually calculate our damage here. So if I use Eruption, that's 13 damage, and then this is 15, but it'll be doubled, so it'll be 30. And then the Smite is 12, plus Vulnerability makes it 18, double that damage makes it 36, so I'm up to 66 and 13. 66 and 13 is 79, and then 18 on top of that. On top of 79 is, I believe, 97. So I believe we have one more damage than is needed for lethal. It's very, very important with this character to get used to calculating if you have lethal, even if you don't expect you do, because you might. Alright, follow up, Cut Through Fate and Worship, new cards. Deal 11 damage. If the last card played this combat was an attack, gain an energy. Cut Through Fate, deal 9 damage, scry 3, draw 1. And Worship, gain 5 mantra, upgrades to retain. Worship's actually really interesting because I have the Damaro, so it actually kind of just skips 5 turns for me. I'm gonna have to upgrade it though. I'm taking it. So yes, I'll take damage to do that, but it's much less damage than I would take if I left that to much later. This is annoying. Also, I should have ended that turn with the conclude there. Vigilance Worship. So next turn, Damaru is going to put me into Divinity. So I exited Calm and then entered Divinity. So I got 5 extra energy. And then blow him up. Fruit Juice, gain 5 max HP, as well as Third Eye Protected Fear No Evil. Fear No Evil being pre-upgraded. Third Eye is gain 7 block, scry 3, upgrades to 9 and 5. Protect we've seen before. Fear No Evil is deal 11 damage if the enemy intends to attack, enter Calm. This is a really, really good way for a Wrath heavy build to exit Wrath at the end of the turn while still dealing a real huge amount of damage. It might not be for us. We need a little bit more defense, and that Protect is there, offering it to us. This is actually really good. If I had more max HP right now, this event would be more expensive. The HP that it takes is a percentage of your current. So I'll have it do that, and then I'm going to gain max HP. I'll take a relic without the curse there. Captain's Wheel at the start of your third turn. Gain 18 block. That's really good for us. Get an early conclude. Oh my god. If you were listening to what I was saying in the background there, I was saying get an early conclude. Game could not have been kinder to me right there. Best I can do, unfortunately, that turn. Yeah, I'm just going to go straight for the lethal, though. Again, always calculate if you have it. Pocket Watch, whenever you play 3 or less cards during your turn, draw 3 additional cards at the start of your next turn, as well as a Flex Potion. Evaluate, Prostrate, and Spirit Shield. Evaluate is gain 6 block, shuffle an Insight into your draw pile. Insight is retain, draw 2 cards. Prostrate is gain 2 Mantra, gain 4 block, upgrades to 3 Mantra, and then Spirit Shield we've seen before. I'm not interested in any of those. Good damage right there. Flurry of Blows, Deceive Reality, and Follow Up. So Deceive Reality is the only new one. It's effectively the same as Carve Reality, but defensive instead of aggressive. I love it. Deceive Reality, Vigilance, and Worship. This is just setting myself up for better later turns. You can see I get to hold 2 Protects and a Safety in my hand. I am so well defended. I want to wish for money, but I also don't. Never, no, don't. I won't have lethal this turn. Or will I? So if I use both of my potions here, could I kill? It would be Flex Potion, so I deal 14 from the Eruption. And then this is 30. Then I would use Blessing of the Forge to upgrade all the cards in my hand, but that only upgrades the Smite. The Smite goes from 12 to 15, 15 to 20 due to Strength, 20 to 40 due to Wrath. So I've dealt 70, 70, 14, 84. And then I've got the Windmill Strike afterwards, which is only 20 damage. No, it's not enough. Nowhere near. Just play a little slower then. Start with the Worship, and then start throwing out damage. Judge him. You gotta judge him for the kill. Anchor started combat with 10 block, as well as a Power Potion, Crush Joints, Tranquility, and Crescendo. Crescendo is the same as Tranquility, it's just enter Wrath instead of Calm. And Crush Joints, deal 10 damage. If the last card played this combat was a skill, apply to Vulnerable. Vulnerability is difficult to pick up as this character, so Crush Joints is a great way to get it. Mummified Hand, whenever you play Power card, a random card in your hand costs 0 for the rest of the turn. What are we going to upgrade here? So at the moment, I pretty much just have to play Worship every turn that I draw it. Whereas if I upgrade it, I'll retain it until exactly the right time where Damaru has given me 5 Mantra and then blow up the enemies. Or Wish gets better, right? That's also important. I'm going to start with Worship. I think I'll use that in more hallway fights. Remove a card from my deck or upgrade all strikes and defense. Unless I have a bunch of my strikes and defense already upgraded, it's almost always the upgrade there for me. So I made sure to play 3 or less cards that turn, so the Pocket Watch has got my back. Okay. Crush, Judgment, then Protect and get out a Defend as well. The backliner was about to make me vulnerable that turn, which was going to increase the damage incoming on me. I don't like that. No, thank you. Worship and Deceive Reality. Just a setup for later turns. In fact, I'll just worship this turn then. One, 2, and 3. Lovely. Teardrop Locket. Start each combat in calm. I love this. It's so powerful. Because no longer do you need to hit a calm trigger or a calm stance entry first before you can exit it to gain extra energy. No, no, no. This has already got your back. It seems small, but it is huge in impact. The only new card here is Meditate. Put a card from your discard pile into your hand and retain it. Enter Calm, end your turn. Upgrades to 2 cards from your discard pile. Honestly, like, Tantrum's probably closest here for me. Especially given the Teardrop Locket we just picked up. Yes! Weakening all enemies on turn 1 and having the anchor is pretty ridiculous. Made sure not to play another card, so the Pocket Watch would trigger. Okay. Let's judge you, definitely. I have a shop in one space time, so I'm actually just going to wish, get money. It's going to cost me 4 HP to do so, but look, it's worth it. Red Mask. At the start of each combat, apply 1 weak to all enemies. Wheel Kick, Cut Through Freight, Crescendo. I don't really need the extra draw from either of these two. I definitely don't need another thing to retain that enters Wrath. Don't really want the Explosive Potion either. Alright. Interesting. So, Bottled Flame, in order to put the Windmill Strike in my opening hand so it starts incrementing its damage really, really quickly, is an interesting way to play this. I don't necessarily think it's going to be the best way, but it's an interesting way to do it. Consecrate, 0 mana, deal 8 damage to all enemies. Obviously, the idea is that you'll spike this to a decent amount of damage, or more decent amount of damage at the least, with things such as Wrath, as Divinity, things like that. Prostrate's there. We've seen all of these before, actually. So I'll take the Dolly's Mirror. I kind of want to get a second Windmill Strike. So this build is very, very largely based around Windmill Strikes, which is something I didn't approach for a large amount of my first Ascension levels with this character, because at the time, Windmill Strike was much worse. Also going to get a Power Potion out here. Master Reality. Whenever a card is created during combat, upgrade it. And then there's Battle Hymn. At the start of each turn, add a smite into your hand. I love Battle Hymn. Master Reality, I mean, we have a Deceive Reality and we have a Carve Reality in the deck. We don't have that many things that trigger it. So I'll take the Battle Hymn, I think, here. I could take Fastening. Battle Hymn. I'm forfeiting an attack here just to get the extra draw next turn. Get the wish out there for strength. Because I'm not going to be able to get that on a later turn. So Windmill Strike, I kind of want it to be in my next cycle through the deck. It's just short of being able to kill. That's fine. Use that plus the smite. Take the kill, just Judgment goes back in my deck. It's worthwhile. Okay, I'm going to start with Tantrum there, because I know that I can Vigilance my way back out of it. So Smite, and then Vigilance and Protect. So you kind of do want to plan out your whole turn, which is anathema to the way that I play, but you want to try at the very least to plan out your whole turn before you execute any of it here with this character. So the enemy next turn is going to do their largest attack. If I'm in Wrath when they do that attack, I'm dead. That's fine. So next turn I use Worship and Sands of Time, Windmill Strike, Windmill Strike. Yeah. So again, that was another case of I'm not planning out just this turn. I know that if I'm in Wrath when the enemy attacks me, that's bad. That's awful. But if I can guarantee that I kill them before that happens, that's great. And using things like the retention mechanics, you can guarantee that. Rather than just be like, I'm probably going to draw the right card. Ragnarok actually turns up pre-upgraded as well. Deal 6 damage to a random enemy 6 times. Upgrades from 5 and 5. We've seen Deus Ex Machina and Wish before. I'll take Ragnarok. Black Star, it's probably a little late for Black Star for me personally. Astrolabe, no. My strikes are already upgraded and defense are upgraded, so it's not that bad. I'll take Cursed Key for another bit of energy there. That's going to make the Wish a lot easier to play. There's 2-3 elite paths. I'll go with the one that has more question marks, though. Start with Deceive Reality. Pop out a Ragnarok then. A Windmill Strike, Miracle, and Conclude. This is just short of winning. And I'll stay just short of winning right up until I... There we go. Get the Wish out for money, and then I'll kill. Fruit Juice, gain 5 max HP. Gotta love that. Got 3 Fate Crescendo. Nope, don't want any of those. All of those are ones we've seen before as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't have skipped them that quickly. Okay. Signature move. Can only be played if this is the only attack in your hand. Deal 40 damage. This is a hard card to make a build out of because you put more than 2 of them in the deck and then they brick each other. It's hard. Blasphemy. Love this card. Enter Divinity. Die next turn. Exhaust. It's at the start of your next turn as well. Upgrades to become Retain. None of the rest of these are new or anything. Orange Pellets. Whenever you play a power, attack, and skill in the same turn, remove all your debuffs. I do like that, and I will do it constantly. So the only benefit I can really attain from that so far, constantly, how many powers do I have in the deck? Just the 0th? None? Yeah, none. Yeah, okay, that's not constantly. I need some powers. It's a mighty unfortunate opening hand right there. I am almost tempted to throw out those windmill strikes just to get some damage. I'll have definitely a shop next floor. Fine. I'll still go Fame and Fortune then. These enemies are getting stronger. The longer I wait to do this, the worse it's going to be for me. In fact, I suspect I go off this turn. Had to use a flex potion for it, but it's okay. Cloak Clasp. At the end of your turn, gain 1 block for each card in your hand. When you're retaining a lot of cards, turns out that's pretty great. Another Crush Joints, another Empty Body. Oh, I'll take a second Crush Joints. Not gonna go to that shop, though. Upgrade all cards you can no longer heal. No. I can't do that. Also, there's, how many cards left into my deck to actually upgrade? Vigilance and 1 Protect. There's 2 cards left to upgrade. Eight by 6. Okay, it's 48, right? It's a lot of incoming damage. I don't like it. It's Deceive Reality, Safety, Defends, Protects, Miracle out that defends, and then we block with the Cloak Clasp there. I can actually double the enemy's attack this turn, and I'll be fine with that. So, Eruption. Giant Ragnarok. Windmill Strike or Sands of Time? Sands of Time. See, the thing is, like, next turn, I can just do both Windmill Strikes. It's fine. First, I'll wish for money, though, and then I'll kill. Love that. Ice Cream. Energy is now conserved between turns. Incredible for us. Another Sands of Time and another Protect. I'll take the Sands of Time. I think I might need the extra damage versus the Heart. I don't really want Madnesses. Energy's not my problem. Fine. Just lose the max HP to get out of the event. Retained a whole load of energy from last turn. Judge that backliner. Just go Windmill for the strike there as well. Great. I could have thrown out a Ragnarok, but I'm saving the energy until I have a very explosive turn like this. Eruption, Defend, Crush Joint sets up for the vulnerability of Sands of Time, Sands of Time. Meat on the bone. If your HP is at or below 50% at the end of combat, heal with 12 HP. Ah, here we go. New cards. Empty Mind, draw 2 cards, exit your starts. So there's an Empty Mind, Empty Fist, and Empty Body as well that we've seen before. These are the really, really useful, oftentimes common ways to exit your starts. Empty Mind is one of the only ways that this character had to draw for a very long period of time. That's since been changed, though. Establishment, whenever a card is retained, reduces cost by 1 for this combat. Obviously, we'll take that. And you know what? I'll make it innate as well. I'm gonna have to constantly throw these cards out of my hand just to make space for the newer ones. Cut that there. Alright, next turn is the turn we go off. Wish for money. Protect, deceive reality. Let's go for... I guess smite and conclude. Just end that turn. So I'm going to play as many things that aren't my big hitters first. And then all my big hitters. Ink Bottle. Whenever you play 10 cards, draw 1 card, as well as another copy of Wish. Swivel. Gain 8 block. The next attack you play costs 0. We'll take another Wish, though. Gremlin Horn. Whenever an enemy dies, gain an energy and draw a card. I do love that relic. Find it super useful. Don't know how useful it'll be here for us, but in general, I find it quite useful. So that innates, the innate establishment will actually help us oftentimes trigger on turn 1 the orange pellets. So if we get anything like a speed potion or a flex potion, we can keep the 5 dex or 5 strength from that. Safety, protect, and then wish for... I have to keep going for the money. Simply gotta. Oh, never mind. Tantrum. Windmill, windmill. Should I leave the enemy that close to dead so that I can wish later? I'm gonna do it. I shouldn't, but I'm gonna do it. See, this is why I shouldn't do it. Let's wish for money. Throw the tantrum. I really hope Judgment works here, by the way. Otherwise, this is gonna be really embarrassing. It does. Okay. It used to only deal 1 damage there, and it sucked. Bag of Preparation. At the start of combat, draw 2 additional cards. Neat. And a bunch of cards we've seen before that I don't necessarily need for the deck. I can have my whole deck upgraded before the next floor if I go down this path. I want more question marks than I want. No. Use a card from the deck? Sure, strike. Beautiful. Like, if I was offered card removal, that's the one that I would have taken. So it's perfect for me. Establishment. Wish throws money. I don't need to throw out Vigilance, so I might as well just go for the vulnerability. Yeah, I'll also throw out Worship. It's fine. Although, I'm retaining the card, and I'm retaining the energy as a result of the ice cream, so it wasn't necessarily, you know, needed. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. I think it's a tantrum turn, actually. So we'll tantrum there. Sands of Time, the back line. Hit. Hit. Both of those drew extra things for me. We'll wish for money. Miracle out of Ragnarok. I couldn't have known I was going to get Ragnarok, but if I didn't get something like that, I was just going to kill it next turn. It's fine. Only because I have the establishment on my opening hand, I'm taking another pre-upgrade to protect there. Transient's really interesting. Because with this character, you always want to be in Wrath against the Transient. There's, like, it makes no difference, weirdly, because you deal twice as much damage to the enemy, which reduces their strength by twice as much, but they deal twice as much damage. However, each point of strength for them is 2 points of damage. So as long as you get, you know, 20 damage in, they do nothing. You always want to be in Wrath, if you can at least. And it looks like we can. Sure. Go Wish for money. Big old Ragnarok right there. I'm gonna throw out that safety just so the decay doesn't deal damage to me. Perfect. Gotta make sure to get vulnerability stacked up. I'm very much hoping that I get the mantra in the... I did get mantra in the sand. Beautiful. So we'll start with wish for the money and then worship. And this is the most damage that I can get out. Let's see. Is it enough? It's only just not enough to kill the transient. Usually you need something real broken to kill that transient. Alright, new card again. Also a on retention benefit. Retain, gain 5 block. When the... Sorry, what was that? Retain, gain 5 block. When retained, increase its block by 2 this combat. The skill potion I don't really want there. Let's recall here to get the ruby key. I'll actually go fight the heart. Sure, why not? Oof. Alright, I'm gonna establishment. Eruption, Tantrum, Carve Reality, Smite, and then Vigilance my way back out of it. It's like more than 100 damage there on turn 1. Also, the Time Eater has unique dialogue for us. Says, never liked you. Just rude, frankly. Deceive and safety. I kind of want to run Wish for defense, but I know that I'm only on Ascension 1, and Ascension 1 is just Elite spawn more often. So I can probably afford to go Wish for the money. I'm going to throw out that miracle. I retain the extra energy from it anyway. Let's wish for money again, and then it protects. That's good enough. Shame that this turn we don't have access to Divinity, otherwise that Ragnarok would be incredible. As it stands, it's fine. I want to keep that Protect in hand. Okay. Let's worship, Windmill Strike, Sands of Time. So just completely skip the second phase of the boss there. To thump right back at you, Heart. If you've not seen it before, these are the 3 keys that I collected over the course of the run there. One of them was I had to take the key over an item in a chest. Another one was I had to take a key instead of resting or smithing at a camp. And another one was I had to fight an upgraded elite in order to get the 3rd key. With all of those keys, once you finish the game, you'll have a 4th floor, which is effectively predetermined. Rest site, shop, the Spire Shield and Spire Spear elite fight, and then the Corrupt Heart, which is the secret final end boss of the game. Not every deck can beat the Corrupt Heart. Not every run can beat the Corrupt Heart. So the idea of having a series that always says, I'm going to the Corrupt Heart no matter what, to me is very restrictive to the kinds of builds that you actually get to make, because otherwise you kind of sit there and go, right, there are certain things I need against the heart that aren't great against all of the rest of the game, but I need them just in case I go to the heart. So I instead just like to go to the heart occasionally. I do like Wallop. Deal 12 damage, gain block for unblocked damage dealt. Real good. Okay. So there's the Flex Potion. That is a great way for me to get 5 strength on turn 1. Mentioned it before. Entropic Brew also. I'm going to drop the Blessing of the Forge and the Regen Potion here. I'm going to take both of those. I'm also going to take the Max HP. Strange Spoon. Cards which exhaust when played will instead discard 50% of the time. So that'll affect things like my Miracle and my Wish and the Smites and Safeties. So it's actually great for us. Art of War, if you don't play any attacks during your turn, gain additional energy next turn. I like that, but I still have a Decay in the deck, so that's going to get out. It could take the Crush Joints. Keeping vulnerability up on my enemies is going to be very important. Yep. I'm very, very glad that I had as much money as I did. Good lord. Start with Establishment. It's already enough defense as well. Wild. My strength just got lowered by 1 by the enemies as well, by the way, so that's a little bit frustrating. Cool. Hold there. A lot of this is just going to be me holding until I know the right turn to perfectly attack. So, take the strength. So, in this fight, just in case you're unfamiliar, the enemy that's behind you will deal 50% more damage. And if you use potions or attacks, you can change your orientation. So, that's me doing that there. Should be able to kill next turn then. Okay, let's start with Wishing for more strength. Then I'll Crush Joints on the one with the most HP. And I'll Crush Joints on the... Oh, I can't Crush Joints on the other one yet. Actually, Miracle Crush Joints. Windmill Strike, Windmill Strike. Eternal Feather for every 5 cards in your deck. Heal 3 HP whenever you enter a rest site. Developers? So, through the beta process of developing the 4th floor, the devs removed, apparently, but clearly not this one, every relic from the game spawning as a result of this elite fight that cannot help you at this point. Eternal Feather is one. So, I would not be surprised to see that end up being removed there. Don't need any of those. Perfect. Let's go. Flex Potion, Establishment, Defend, Crush Joints. That'll purge the debuff there of losing my strength from the Flex Potion at the end of the turn. Then I'm going to use the Ancient Potion, because the first thing the Corrupt Heart does to you, it does weakness, vulnerability, and frailty. But the first thing it does is vulnerability. So, Ancient Potion. I'd love to be able to Tantrum, but that's a bad idea. So you can see the vulnerability didn't come in. I should have used the other Ancient Potion as well, actually. That's my bad. I guess Swivel? No, Empty Mind probably here. Okay. Let's start with Deceive Reality. Then I'll empty mine because I can Vigilance back into it already. Really, I'm going to have to wish for strength if I want to win this fight. Could have taken a hell of a lot more damage that turn. Lovely. Eruption. I can't guarantee that I have the ability to exit this stance at the end of the turn. So I can't really afford to use Eruption. That sucks. Okay. Protect, wish for strength. Protect, then worship. I want to get all of these cards going in the next cycle as well. There. So I can no longer do any more damage to the enemy this turn. They can only take 300 damage in a single turn. That's their invincibility buff there. I wanted to get them under 300 HP that turn. That's all I really needed to do. Vigilance. Worship. Let's crush joints. Strike. Empty that mind. Double protect in hand. Makes me feel pretty good against the next turn. Possibly. Maybe. Apparently not. Deceive reality, safety, defend. The incoming damage from that is 72. We've got defense against that. Beautiful. Let's wish for strength. And I should be able to kill this turn. Windmill, and judge him. Beautiful. So pretty long run, pretty exhaustive in talking about the archetypes, mechanics, and the different kind of strategies and keywords for this character. I hope for those of you who have been with the series for a long time that this wasn't too slow of a pace for you. Oh, that's beautiful. And I hope for anyone new to the series that you enjoyed that. I make Slay the Spire content very, very consistently over here on YouTube, so if this is the kind of content you're interested in, although it's typically at a little bit of a faster pace than this, I'd encourage you to subscribe. Also, I don't ask often, but I'd like to occasionally mention it. If you do like the videos, please click like. It does help me get my content out to new people and grow the channel, and it makes me smile on the inside of my heart. My name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Slay the Spire. This is The Watcher. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.